I'm going to show you the modified version of it. And the modified, it's easier to show you the modified version than to show you the one on the ground, but eventually, or essentially what you'll do is you're going to just go hands and knees.
Okay.
The idea is your back should be nice and flat. So think of it like a table. For the cat-cow, it's just relatively simple. We're mostly going for a stretch, but I'm going to focus my main movement from not in the middle of my back, right at the lower part, right?
Okay.
Because that's the section that is more tense and hurts more. So that is my focal point. I'm going to take a big breath in, and as I exhale, I'm going to round my back as much as I can. I'm going to hold there for a second. Now the advanced version of this, I would take another breath in, and as I exhale, try to round it a little bit more. Even if you only get another millimeter or a centimeter, you're still trying to emphasize pushing from that spot. And then you relax, and then you push your stomach down to the ground, and now I'm gonna arch my back, I guess. Once again, I'm trying to push my stomach down to the ground, get as much curve in that spot as I can. At the very bottom, once again, I can take a breath in, and as I exhale, I try to arch it a little more. Again, if it only moves a millimeter or a centimeter, that's fine. You're telling the brain to focus on that spot a little bit more.
Okay.
And then you just repeat. You go back into the cat or angry cat a little bit more than last time. Same thing, breath in. As you exhale, push a little more, and come back down. When you're doing that, what you'll find is to get the most out of that stretch, sometimes you're gonna have to shift your weight back. Sometimes you're gonna have to shift your weight forward. The goal is to keep your elbows locked out, so all of the movement just comes from the spine. It doesn't come from the arms at all. Any shift in my weight, forward or back, is again not gonna bend my elbows. For the thread the needle, it's the same starting position. I'm just here. Step one is I just take one arm behind my head. I twist, tap my elbow to my arm, come back, and I rotate. Again, I'm thinking of now I have a rod that's going through the top of my body, and I'm only pivoting around that axis. Step two would be to take your arm and now reach a little further underneath. Come back, reach a little further back. Nice and steady. It is going to be easier to get more range of motion if my hands and feet are not on the same level. So if my hands are higher up, I can do a little more movement. If my hands and knees are on the ground, the movement is going to be limited, but it'll feel a little tougher. So that's like step three, right? Step one would just be here. Step two is I'm reaching through. Step three is now my hands and knees are on the ground. I go back to one arm behind my head before I try to reach underneath.
Okay.
Right, and then do the same thing on the other side. The child's pose stretch is a good way to just get a big stretch out of like this whole paraspinal, the lat muscles, the QLs. You're gonna just reach forward and across, and notice how I'm not twisting my body, I'm pivoting. So I reach, this hip goes back as this arm goes forward, because I'm trying to elongate and I'm trying to stretch as much as I can. And then I come back to center, reach across. I may angle a little bit just to emphasize that stretch a little bit more, but that's what I need. You don't have to stay flat. You just kind of, rotate or twist a little bit as you need to. For the low back, a really good one, it's both an exercise and a mobilization. So all I'm going to do is just step into a reverse lunge. I can drop to the ground because all I'm going to do next is kind of twist and stretch myself over the front leg. I'm always twisting over that front leg, and then I step back up. So the mobilization comes from that twist. The exercise comes from me doing this repetition. So I step back, boom, come back up.
How many reps would you say for that one?
I would start with 12 to 15.
Okay.
Play it by ear. You don't. You could do more. In like for a warm up, right? If I'm just kind of like casually dropping back, I'm not really treating it like an exercise. It's more of a warm up. It's not putting too much stress on my leg.